Small talk is the appetizer for any relationship. Before you can have a good business friendship with someone, you can have a business conversation, but if you don't have the small talk, you don't develop the business friendship. It does take you to the next step of that relationship to build a business friendship, because all things being equal, people do business with their friends. So you can include people in the group, but I can't do that if I don't know your name, Campbell, or I forgot it, or I spaced it out. So a good networker is able to introduce people to other people. That's all you said. So I don't even know what your business is, and now you've taken me to the next step, and I'm dying to know what you're talking about.
So you open it up, so I'm not forcing it upon you, you're actually getting interested in what I'm saying.
But no one will do that if you don't give them at least a sentence so that they have something to be interested in throughout the debate.
Debra Fine, nationally acclaimed keynote speaker.
I spent a year's worth of time on research. Only an engineer would do this.
Best-selling author of The Fine Art of Small Talk.
Small talk around every business conversation that we ever have. And what I mean by that is if you can either start the conversation with small talk and or end it with small talk, you will develop business friendships. And all things being equal, people do business with their friends. All things not being so equal, people still do business with their friends. So before or after the provision of service, the negotiation of the contract, the selling of the widget, the presentation, the job interview, or the job evaluation, try to introduce small talk in a small and casual way to develop those business friendships.
Debra Fine sets the tone for your conference or meeting and teaches the skills to build business relationships critical to success.
And what do you talk about after that? I had no clue what you were supposed to talk about after that.
Debra delivers a fast-paced, entertaining yet informative interactive presentation. She covers icebreakers to exit lines and reveals her secrets to networking and strong rapport with customers, clients, and colleagues.
A lot of the information she presented I can use every day.
Debra, a former engineer, is now internationally recognized as the authority on networking.
So a good networker is able to introduce people to other people.
Already appearing on the Today Show 6 times, CNN, Fox Business News, and NPR.
So is having a good cry in the public eye good for your image? Let's ask Debra Fine. She's the author of The Fine Art of the Big Talk.
Debra Fine is the speaker most often invited to talk about effective conversation on national television.
That is the kind of small talk I'm talking about, to take it to a level where we have a real conversation instead of this, so what do you do? Well, I'm an engineer, so where are you from? Chicago.
Right.
So are you married? No. Well, you're an FBI agent. You're not going to have a real conversation.
And you know what's interesting about that is you're still asking essentially the same question,
right.
What do you do for a living? But it's the way you phrase the question. Language still means something even in small talk.
It's huge. It's just like, don't ask somebody how their wife is. What if she left him, for goodness sake? And what's been going on with the family? Or bring me up to date about the family. And those are likely to get a sentence in response rather than a one-word answer.
Well, are there topics that are off limits, though, getting too personal with just small talk?
Well, if someone discloses something to you that makes you uncomfortable, and that will happen, of course, especially if they've had a few too many, what I like to do is say, I'm not comfortable talking about that, or that's just something that just feels uncomfortable for me. But the key is up to me to come up with something else to talk about. Instead of having this huge pregnant pause or awkward moment, I'm going to say, so what are you looking forward to about the holidays? Or just leap into something else so that there isn't that awkward moment there.
Debra, you make a lot of lectures and speeches to corporate clients.
Right.
What are they telling you about business? What are you hearing from your clients?
I think that in different sectors, of course, there's different economies in different parts of the country. I'm from Colorado myself, and we're having a tough time out there with a lot airlines, obviously the oil and gas, et cetera, travel industry, telecommunications, and IT. It's really been really challenging. But the key, I hate to use the word networking, Tom, because I just hate that word, and I hate those people. They walk up to you. If you can't help them get a job, if you can't buy their product or their service,
and a handshake.
Yeah. But I'm going to suggest that every conversation is an opportunity, that the businesses that are either successful or hanging in there, I had somebody say it to me today, we're acting like there's not a recession, act like there's nothing bad happening, make every conversation an opportunity.
Chosen to be Whole Foods Market's national spokesperson for their New Year's resolutions program, Debra also snags a lot of attention in print, the Chicago Tribune, the Wall Street Journal, and hundreds of others. Her message is universal.
Icebreakers. What do you say to somebody to engage them in conversation? How do you get through one of those awkward moments when the four of us, we're standing there with our coffee and we have run out of things to talk about? Listening skills that help develop rapport with people. Conversation killers to avoid. Even exit lines, so that in order to get away from me, you never do one of these numbers. Debra. it was great to meet you, but I've got to run. I've got to call the babysitter. Out she flies. 5 minutes later, I find out from her colleague that her kids are grown and they are in college. There are ways to get away from people without lying to them, but ways to get away from people so that they cannot hold us hostage for one more moment than we are willing to be held hostage for.
Debra, a 14-year member of the National Speakers Association, has authored 2 best-selling books: The Fine Art of Small Talk, How to Start a Conversation, Keep It Going, Build Networking Skills, and Leave a Positive Impression, and The Fine Art of the Big Talk, How to Win Clients, Deliver Great Presentations, and Solve Conflicts at Work, both translated into over 24 languages.
People say, what's been going on? We say nothing or not much. It comes flying out of our mouth, all of us. It is a good answer if you don't want to talk to me. It is a good answer if you don't want to connect with somebody. It is not a good answer because we're on automatic pilot and it just comes flying out of our mouth. When we want to connect with people, we need to give them something to talk about with us. That's a full sentence, and this elevator speech stuff has to go because everybody in this room definitely can spot an elevator speech when they hear one. Some of us are catching up with you, and we know schmooze when we hear schmooze.
Debra's presentation motivates while revealing concrete skills to start conversations, how to break the ice.
Instead of saying, how's work, to somebody that walks into your open house, how's business, so that they'll say pretty good, and then you don't know what to talk about then. Instead say, what's been going on with your business since the last time we had a chance to talk? Or bring me up to date. What's been going on with work for you?
Master introductions.
Leaders are able to introduce people to other people. You can't do that if you don't know that person's name.
Come across as composed and self-assured.
Even if you're the most outgoing person, there is that underlying fear of risk that someone will not respond positively.
Avoid conversation killers.
We're not allowed to ask questions that we don't know the answer to.
Develop active listening skills.
Show that you're listening. Nod, just like you're doing. Give verbal cues. Oh, I see what you mean. What happened first? What happened next? And see my body language, JJ? I look like I'm listening. I'm not like, oh, really?
Exit conversations with grace.
Or if whatever, then exit them. But if they know you went over that edge where your sort of eyes glaze over and you have no idea what they're talking about anymore, you'll have burned a bridge forever. So it's better to just exit them than stand there and not listen.
Because successful small talk can reap big rewards.
Let me tell you, I am reinvigorated. I walked in this room thinking, I don't know a person here. Who am I going to sit by? What am I going to say? What can I possibly talk to people about? And Debra has absolutely given me every tip I need to go into the workplace and succeed and go to my next social event, which I've got tonight, and make small talk.
Debra Fine and her Fine Art of Conversation programs have proven successful for corporations and organizations around the globe, from Boston to Bangkok. If you are looking for a motivating, entertaining, and informative speaker who can help your audience maximize every meeting and conference, then look no further. The following are some of the esteemed clients who would strongly recommend Debra Fine for your next event. To book Debra, please contact the person who gave you this video.